Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today I'm reviewing another Zemismart product, and this is a smart rechargeable battery operated curtain motor. And this unit is designed for curtain motors, fabric blinds or fabric curtains or Venetian blinds that are usually operated with a bead chain, because the idea is that you have this main motor unit and you can thread the bead through this gear here on the top, and then you fix it on the wall, and then this is going to open or close your curtain. So it's obviously not those plastic or metal shutters that go outside of your window. And within the whole box, as you can see, the main components here, you are getting the motor, you are also getting a remote. You can operate the blinds up, down, and stop it. And I'm assuming that maybe this was designed and not a smart unit, because there is this separate USB device, and this will connect to either Smart Life or the Tuya Smart app, so you can control your curtains from your phone as well. And because the whole unit is battery operated, I think this is ideal to be installed maybe after the fact, once you finish your house and you haven't thought about powering your curtains remotely. So you can just have this unit on the wall, and of course you have to charge it from time to time. There is a charging socket on the bottom, and well, this is going to just work over the Wi-Fi and the remote, and being battery operated. And I asked the seller, and they said that the battery inside it is going to last for about 5 months. I guess it may vary depending on the use. By the way, you can see some specs here in terms of the torque of the motor and current rating. It doesn't say much about the actual battery inside, how big it is. And to be honest, I like things that can be controlled locally. So if I don't want to, I don't need to find my phone, unlock it and find the app just to open my blinds. So you're getting this remote as well that you can place on the wall or sort of anywhere in your room and operate it. And as I said, there is this separate converter unit which is for the internet control, and it has a USB plug, and that USB plug is only for power. So you need to provide a USB socket or a USB wall charger to power this unit. But it's a fairly small unit, and that's pretty much it. When you buy this product and you unbox it, the motor, the remote, and also the USB unit, or they call it the converter in the manual, it's all paired together. So all you need to do is just basically hook it up and install it, and it's ready to go. The remote is going to work with the unit. So this is actually quite nice. I also asked the seller, and this converter can only control one motor. So if you have several blinds in your room, unfortunately you have to have several of these units. The only good thing is that both the motor, the remote, and the unit communicate over 915 megahertz RF. So you can hide these receivers or these converters out of the way, maybe in a cabinet. And again, if you have multiple in the same room, unfortunately you probably have to buy a separate, maybe like a multi-port adapter, and then just power all of them. But at least it can be hidden out of sight. In the remote you are getting 3 buttons: up and down and stop, and you can program the unit itself or the motor itself to remember the top and the bottommost positions. So this way it can be customized to any blinds, whether you want them to fully close or just partially close, maybe if there is an obstruction. And also it is possible to program midpoints in between. So when you press the open or the close button on the remote, it's actually going to stop on those midpoints, and you have to press them again either to advance to the next midpoint or go all the way either fully closed or fully open. There are a few more bits and pieces that you are getting with this product. So first of all, there is a holder for the remote as well. So if you want this remote to be permanently mounted on the wall, you can use this mount. It looks like that it has a magnet as well, and sticky tape as well, so you can stick it on a wall or just to screw it, and at least there would be a permanent place for your remote. You are also getting a charging cable, so it just needs to be plugged into a USB charger. Again, you have to provide your own, and then this charger plugs into the unit like this, and this is how the battery gets recharged. Unfortunately, there is no indication of the battery state in the app as well, so the only indication that you are getting that the battery is running low is this indicator light is going to light up red when you need to charge the battery. And I guess probably the easiest thing to go is just to have a big power bank and just go around the house and then, you know, recharge this unit from time to time. And there is an indicator light on this charger as well, so you can tell whether it is still charging the unit or it is fully charged. The third accessory is a mounting plate which goes in here, and that's the plate that you mount on the wall, and then this motor just slides into that plate, but that's already fixed to my wall, so I'm not going to show it right now. And of course this unit works with multiple bead chains, and you are getting different type of gears and you just need to pick the one which suits best your, you know, bead chain. And of course you can open the unit up like this, and you can just pull this one off and replace it with any of the ones that are provided. I have to say I'm really happy with this product. First of all, it came in a really nice box. You know, nothing fancy, it's a very clean design, and when you open the box you are getting compartments for each of the different bits that you are getting in the kit, and there is a one-pager, well actually like a, you know, two-sided instruction manual, so you can see the actual part number here, and it is a very clear English instructions. So first of all, it tells you what are the different components and sizes that you are getting with the kit and how you install it. So you fix the wall panel in place, and then you can slide the motor unit, so this big unit, into that mount, and you just feed in your bead, and that's it. And as you can see, there are multiple steps here, so that helps you to sort of like ratchet in and then tension the bead. And on the second side, it talks about how you can set up the upper and the lower limit. Before you set the limit, then your blind is going to move very, very slowly. So you can use either the buttons here on the motor or the buttons here on the remote to move the blinds up and down. And when you have either the up position or the down position, you press the set button and the top button for both the up and the down position. And the unit will remember what is the sort of the limits, the upper limit and the lower limit. And then you can move it to any position in between, and again press the set button and click on the middle button to remember mid positions. And if you press the set button and the lower button, then it reverses the direction of the motor. And all these instructions are clearly explained here in the documentation. It's a fairly good, you know, English documentation. You can read the whole stuff here. And it also talks about how you can pair the unit with the remote and also with the converter unit. But as I said, I didn't have to do that because it comes paired from the factory. And probably last but not least, you have some instructions how you can set up the converter or how you can pair the converter with the app. But that actually works exactly the same way as you pair any other Wi-Fi device in the Tuya Smart app. So, you know, there is nothing special about that, but you can follow the instructions here and then it's going to tell you how to do that. So this is how it looks like when it is installed. I have the motor here mounted on the wall. So there is this bracket which keeps it in place, and then the bead is thread through the wheel, and of course you have the blind there. And I have the remote here, and the USB adapter or converter is actually plugged somewhere there. You don't see it, you can't see it on the shot. So the blind is in the topmost position, so I think I'm going to use the remote just to tell it to come down. And as you can see, the blind comes down. And this looks a little bit wobbly, but I did it intentionally because you see there is this connecting bead which is you know, closing this one, and if I make it too tight then it gets clogged up in the wheel. So I think when it's a little bit sloppy, it works a little bit better. And as you can see, the blind was moving, it was showing the state in the app as well, and of course if I want to stop it at any point, I could have stopped the, you know, the middle button. And it stopped at this position because I also had a midpoint set for this blind, so it stopped at the midpoint. But if I want to go it all the way down, I can press on the button again, and it would fully close. And of course, if I would have another midpoint, it would stop at that point as well. And I set this as the maximum position because, well, otherwise it's going to hit the, the flower. And actually, it's fairly tight. So if I make it any lower, then probably it's going to hit the motor as well. But for me, this is a good, a close position. I still get some light, and I don't get the sun in my eyes when I'm sitting in front of the computer, which you can't see, but it's here. And if I want to operate it from the app, I can just use the button here on the app as well. So I just told it to go up. And if I'm not doing anything, well, it's just going to go up. I can tell it to stop, of course. And then make it all the way up. And the animation also updates on the screen, showing how much is it open or closed. And now it reached the topmost position. So it remembers the position. It probably counts how many revolutions the motor is rotating either one direction or the other. So it looks to be, fairly safe in terms of not going past in either of the limits, which is good because otherwise it probably tear this simple blind down from the ceiling. So with this, we already looked at what we can do in the app. So you have the 3 basic controls. By the way, it looks like that if I'm using the remote, then it remembers the midpoints. But if I'm using the app, it would just go all the way up and all the way down, unless you hit the middle pause button. You can also drag this small dot as well, but I think using the button is probably a little bit better. And you have a few more options when you click on more. There are only 2 functions here. First, you can change the motor direction, but you can also do it on the motor as well. And I think that's probably a better way of doing that. And you also have some schedules. So you can set at an hour and a minute, and you can also set which day of the week that schedule should activate. And you can set whether the blind should be open or closed. So you can't set a percentage here in the schedule, just opening and closing it. And of course, you can have multiple of these schedules. And that's pretty much all the functionality that you are getting here. In the device settings, you can rename the device, you can change the icon, change the location, and the rest of the settings are just generic with, with all the Tuya devices, like sharing, creating a group, offline notification, checking device for updates. Let's quickly check what you have in the smart scenes. So if I create a new smart scene, let's say tap to launch, run the device and the motor. In the control, I can set it to either open or close or stop. And I can also set the curtain position. So here in the scenes, I can control this blind to open or close partially and not all the way. And you can change the motor direction, but I guess you don't really want to use that in the scenes. These were the actions that the device supports, and let's check what sort of triggers the device supports. Again, when the motor direction is changed, you probably don't want to use that. When the device is being controlled by either the remote or the buttons, so you can do maybe when the curtain goes down or closes, then you can turn on the lights. So you can use that trigger for that. And you can either do curtain positions. So maybe you can even do if the curtain is, more than 80% closed, then turn the lights on. Otherwise, if it's only 30% closed, then you still leave the lights off, something like that. So you can create an automation based on the curtain position and also the percentage of the position as well. So that's nice. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, that as soon as I received the package and also unboxed it, I was, quite surprised how well made and sturdy this unit is. I mean, I know that there is a motor and the battery inside, but still it feels satisfyingly heavy. And the overall construction of the motor and the remote also feels very satisfying, and it doesn't feel like a cheap product. This was my review of the rechargeable smart bead chain curtain motor. If you are interested in this product, I'm going to leave purchasing links to AliExpress in the video description. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.